Hood's up. Stuff to do. Check engine light came on. Did a quick look. And it's throwing a P0332 code. Basically, knock sensor combustion, vibration sensor B, circuit low. Basically telling me that underneath all this crap, underneath the intake, I gotta do the intake sensors, or sorry, knock sensors. Hopefully it's not too bad. One or two situations can arise. One, the knock sensors just come undone. It's a quick, easy, quick, easy job. Just takes a few moments taking more of the wiring and the top off. Or it ends up becoming a bigger issue, and the knock sensors are so rusted in place that you end up having to take the valley plate off. So, going to be interesting to see what of the two happens for me. First thing we got to do is take the intake snorkel off, take the upper cover off, take the main harness off, and then we can focus on getting the parts like the fuel lines. I think the evap is in there and some other stuff. So I'm going to get busy taking the snorkel and everything off, getting down to where I just can take the intake off. Intake is off. You can see how grody it is in here. There is just a ton of crap. Didn't have any real issues with taking this off. I did take the crossover for the fuel rail off because when they run this evap line, it runs underneath that. So some people will just lift it up, move the evap line aside, and then just take the crossover with the intake. I opted to just undo it, take that off, and leave this there. Injector pigtails. These are fairly a pain in the butt. They have a standard clip on the side right here where my thumb is to unclip them, but they have these locks. I found it was easier just to pull the lock completely out, and then it was just real simple to take this out. So we can see how dirty it is underneath here. I've already been back here once because I had replaced that oil sender, so that's already been done. Left the throttle body on. You can leave this on if you want, or you can take it off, but if you take it off, then you're going to lose coolant out of two of your coolant lines. The one on the driver's side is just a hair short from my truck, so it was a little tight getting it off, but it does come off, so it's just sitting there. I'm going to get the shop vac out and some rags and clean this all up, stick some rags down into the ports so that I can just blow on this as well, get this all cleaned up. Then we're going to take the plugs off, and then we'll investigate the knock sensors. So a couple of things that I want to point out, one of which is something that I've heard people talking about before, so I thought I'd check it myself. You can see I got everything all nice and cleaned up, ready for new gaskets because I got those too. But something that I read is that these valley bolts have a tendency to come loose, and upon checking mine, this one was loose and the two in the back corner were loose. And I'm not talking finger loose tight. I'm just talking like I was able to grab my wrench and I was able to snug them down a couple. So back those out, put a little bit of glue that Loctite on them, lock them down again. Hopefully you don't ever have an issue. But now it is time to remove or check and see what the knock sensors look like. So before I get too far into this, I'll show you why this is a problem. On the bottom of bottom of the intakes, you can see are these foam blocks, and they basically trap all the crap that you can possibly imagine into your intake area. So my recommendation, pull them out, get rid of them, allow that area to breathe and get air in there. I think one of the reasons why they had those for is because, as you can see, this has a bit of a lip on it. With those foam pieces across here and these lips, I think that they thought it was going to be enough to keep debris and stuff from possibly getting in and underneath these covers, but unfortunately it doesn't. So I'm going to grab my pick. We're going to pop up the cover on this one. Got a bit of dirt and debris around the boot. Where's my light? Look down in there, you can see how crusty and corroded that one is. So definitely a good time to replace that one. And let's see what this one looks like. Well, Houston, I think we found our problem. I think I know why it's telling me that that's not a good one for, because that is a mess in there. Oh boy, hopefully that's not too difficult. So gonna have to be vacuuming, blowing, and getting that all cleaned out. So we found the problem. The check engine light was definitely right. Sensor B definitely has a problem. So yeah, time to clean it out. Let's see if we can get that plug out. Well, I'll figure out how to get those out. And yeah, so I've got new intake manifolds, new harness, and 2 new knock sensors for that. So I'll get cleaning those out. And if I have any problems getting that back one out, I'll show you my issues with that. But hopefully not. Well, I had plans to show both knock sensors after I got them out, but I seem to have lost one and don't know where it went. But here is the one that was in the back. And you can see just how bad it is. So I got a new harness. I got 2 new knock sensors. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some anti-seize there. The anti-seize will go on the threads. And then I've got dielectric grease. That will go on the plug. And then to finish it all off, I seem to have misplaced it now. It's been a day. Picked up some right stuff. I'm going to use this to basically act as a way to seal the rubber boot where it seals down to the valley plate. And then I'm going to also use it as a means to stop water intrusion down the wire for the actual harness itself. So by doing those 2 things on each plug with the dielectric grease, I figure I'll probably either have this truck sold or the motor will fall out or something before I have to worry about these knock sensors again. So you can see how much cleaner. Oh, lost my one light. But you can see how much cleaner it is down in there. And if we go to the back one, you can see it's a whole lot cleaner in there too. That thing was half full of dirt. So it was good to get that all cleaned out. So going to get all the new knock sensors set up, get it all anti-seized, get it all dielectric grease, get it all right stuff, get this all back in place so that I can get the manifold back on and get this thing back up and running without any more check engine lights. So once I get the knock sensors in and ready to put the plugs or put the harness in, I'll bring you guys back then. Okay, so you can see I've got the new harness in. So now, to make sure that this doesn't cause me any grief down the road, I've got my marker. I'm going to make a circle around each one of these boots. There. So now I know that if I pull this boot up, so if I want to put my right stuff, it's going to be basically around where this black mark is. So anything from, there's like a little lip here. So I'm going to run a bead of the right stuff around that. And then I'm going to close this up. So I'm going to put this back in the hole. And then once I've done that, then I'm going to run another bead around the outside of this. And then I'm going to just put a little glob around this and do the same back there. And then that way, no water should intrude in there. And then what I might do is put a really thick bead just on the outside around here and build a little wall, just so that if any water does come down this way, it hits that and then it runs to the back, and do the same on that one back there. So I'm gonna get the right stuff, get this all sealed up, get that one all sealed up, and then I'll show you what that is and looks like. All right, we're just a few minutes later. Got that all sealed off, got that little dam made up, got that one all sealed off, got the dam, got the plug wires all sealed up well. So hopefully we don't have any issues with this. I gotta let that sit for 30 minutes, but it's dinner time, so I'm gonna do that. Take care of dinner, take care of the dog, and then once I have that, and I know that's good and dry, then I can come back out and put the intake manifold back on with new intake manifold gaskets. So I'm gonna let that dry for a bit, take a bit of a break, and then finish off and continue with finishing this job. After a few minor delays, this is where we're at. So you can see that I've got everything sealed off. I got a couple of big walls to help hopefully get some water to not be around that area. Both of the wires are sealed. They're all gooped up, which is good. But that leads to my next issue. So first, intake manifold gaskets. These are the green ones. My understanding is these green ones are factory, and apparently a lot of people say that they're not great. I do not know if that's true or not, but I did choose to buy a new set of Felpros. And is there a difference? I don't know, maybe, but we'll see. Fresh ones don't hurt anyways if you're taking it off. And the last thing, so this is the other one. Because I took the fuel rail off, so you can see down in that hole, there should be O-rings. I was able to find one O-ring, lost the other. Luckily I went on Amazon. I found this kit. I ordered this on Sunday, got here, or Saturday. Ordered it Saturday afternoon, got here Monday. I did some trying to shop around. These O-ring kits from GM are like 60 bucks. So I couldn't really justify that, but I found this one on Amazon for like 17. I went and looked up the part number on their website. These are Viton O-rings, so they're good for the fuel. So I'm going to put the O-rings back into this, put the other new gasket on that side. This will get installed, get it torqued down to spec and in sequence to make sure that it won't leak. Once that's back installed, then we can move forward on basically reconnecting all the crap underneath there. Once that's all reconnected, then we can go ahead and make sure that there's no fuel leaks, there's no vacuum leaks. There is one little thing that I will need to show for this. So when I get to that, I'll show you guys how I fix that. So O-rings, gasket, installed. So I have the intake manifold installed. It's torqued down. I did do it properly with a proper torque wrench, which is down there. For doing stuff like this, I would recommend a high tooth count 1/4 inch torque wrench. I don't know what mine is, but I would suggest something in like 80, 90 teeth or whatever it is that you can. I found with mine, the teeth count just wasn't high enough, so you were doing a lot of swinging to try and make it move a little tiny bit, and I didn't like that too much. So the first thing that I want to go over, and I talked about this in removing the injectors. So this is the injector plug, and it's missing the security tab right now. So this is the security tab. It's got this side here, so these two tabs wrap around the wire, and this end slides into the actual connector. And then what this does is when you lock it, the push tab for the injector slides into this hole, and then you can't squeeze it. So if you look at the injector here, so this is the squeeze tab right here for it to undisengage. So I'm just going to try and wedge you guys here. Sorry if you're a little crooked. So you take this like so, and if you push it down inside this, down behind that, sorry, in front. Where does it go now? Yeah, it goes down in front like so. So you can see it's kind of going in. And if you just keep pushing, now it's wrapped around this wire, and you can see that if I push it all the way down, it locks this tab from being able to be pushed. So what you're supposed to do is just lift it up, and then it allows you to squeeze that little gray tab right here to unclip this off the injector. But if you're removing these harnesses with everything still attached and you're leaving the fuel rails and everything in, they can be a bit of a bear. So all you do is if you just take it off the wire, pull it straight out, then it's unlocked permanently, and it allows you to get at that. And then before you put them back in, just squeeze it back in. Make sure it's in the unlock position so that you have the tab isn't caught. And then once you put it on and this clicks into place, then you can lock it back down. Now the other one has to do with, it looks like I've already lost it. So I tried to keep it in place, but I lost it. So on this guy here, there's usually a little white clip. I have no idea where it is right now. Like I said, they either break or they go missing. And you definitely want it to be kept on there. Some people basically take a zip tie, and my understanding is, I think this one's too big. Nope. So you basically feed it through the one side. So it comes through. Then you loop it back through on the one side. And then it comes back out the other side like that. So there's the tail, there's the lock. Then you put it over top of the hole, or put it over top of the nipple here. And then you want to make sure, I can't turn it because I'll probably, I can. So you can kind of see in there what it's doing. So you want to put that nipple between the two zip ties. And I don't think, the zip tie is too big. But I have another small one. So got a littler one here. So we'll do the same thing again. Get through one side. Feed it back through. Now it's on the nipple. Take your zip tie. And now you've made your own little lock, and that won't come off. Cap back on. Find your side cutters, whatever you're going to want. Trim that off, and that guy's done. So basically from here, I just now have put the fuel rail and just basically the upper dressing and some odds and end plugs in there. And then once that is all buttoned up and all put back together, then we'll do a test fire, check for codes, clear codes if we have to. And then, sorry, flies are in here like crazy tonight. Yeah, so we'll get it all buttoned up, test fire, clear codes, make sure everything is good, and hopefully there's no further issues and no leaks, and we're good to go. So I'm going to finish this up, and then I'll bring you back when it's all done and ready to be started. Everything is back installed, except for this. I gotta just put that on, but I just wanted to do a quick start just to check that there was no possible leaks of O-rings, and I didn't see any. So that's a good sign. If we look at the key on, let me start the truck. I'll check engine lights. Faults found. So that's another task completed on this. I do have some concerns because I just tried starting my truck here twice, and both times it was very difficult to start. And it shouldn't normally be like that, so I'm not sure what's going on. If I need to do an amp draw to see if something is pulling down the battery in this, I'm not sure. It seems sometimes I can go a week and I got no problems with this truck, and other times it sits for a couple of days and I got a low, weak start like that. So I do have a possible theory on what could be causing it. Haven't gotten around to doing it because it's a big, ugly ass job. Basically, I think it's something to do with possibly the radio, but I'm not sure. So just thought I'd show you to take you along on the journey of doing knock sensors on these things. It's not a difficult job, just got to be careful with some of the stuff underneath there and make sure you put all the wires and everything back where it is, and it shouldn't take you that long. So just remember, plan ahead, and in that way, if you come across a snag, you'll be able to fix it pretty easy. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.